Welcome back, Wolfpack Brillos here, and this is how to use Empoleon. So Empoleon's base stats are going to be a little interesting. We have high special investment, that we have really good special attack, really good special defense, pretty solid on the hit points, 84 hit points, starting to get into that tanky realm, but we're not incredibly tanky, but we still have some good bulk right there. And then not a lot of speed, not a lot of attack, and good amount of defense, like 84, 88. Depending on the investment, that can still make you fairly bulky. So we're going to be fairly okay when it comes to just trying to get some setup, but overall, none of our stats really shine. We don't really excel at too much, and that can be a bit of a problem. With our water steel typing, we also get into a pretty interesting typing. Look at all these resistances. Tons and tons and tons of resistances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Who knew it was possible to have 10 resistances? And that's just going to be pretty absurd. So steel and ice is going to be like 4 times resisted, and then the rest is really good. Fighting ground and electric weaknesses. So it's not like we can specialize our defenses like a regular water type, and we also have poison immunity. So overall, we got some bulk, we got some tank, and we do have some weaknesses. So let's also go and hop into Pokemon Showdown. But before I do, shout out to the Twitter fans. Empoleon's hard. Like, I was trying to come up with a set, and if you see your name here, you know, shout out for all the cool things. I just had a tough time trying to come up with some sets. So let's go and look at some Empoleon sets. Mostly the consensus is bulk special attack. Like, I didn't really want to screw it up. I tried to look into Empoleon, but you're really limited because your stat distribution and you don't really have too much setup, so you can't really excel at too many things. But Assault Vest means you're going to be a really solid special tank. Just kind of come in against special attacker and try to really beat them up. That with Torrent, you also have some good options that if you get dropped into that low health range, Scald is going to be very powerful. And people like just kind of do what they want. You know, Assault Vest with Ice Beam, Scald, Flash Cannon, Grass Knot. Good coverage, good stab options like Flash Cannon. You don't see it used too much, but we do have a Steel Special Attacker here. Scald's going to be pretty nice. Ice Beam, Grass Knot for the extra coverage. So this is pretty solid. Now, there are also some other options that you don't need Assault Vest. You can also just go with Choice Specs. You come in as just a huge bulk special attacker with a ton of resistances. Try to resist what you can, just endure those hits, and really send some hard things back. That if they don't hit you super, it's still going to be pretty tough to take you out with all this hit point investment, and just going to be hit point special attack, going for the most damage, going for as much bulkiness as possible, and it's going to be very solid. Also, you can kind of go for a really awesome setup. This was one of my favorite ones, that you go for Agility, Torrent, Patea Berry. So interestingly enough, I didn't really think of this, but it's really similar to the Torterra set I had beforehand. I came up with Torterra before, and really you go for that speed boost, you have your offensive berry, and if you get knocked into that Torrent range, or like whatever ability range you have, that Scald is going to hurt. And even at that, you probably don't even want Scald. You might just go for Surf or Hydro Pump. If you want to play the accuracy game with Hydro Pump, you sure can, but with Surf, you're also looking highest damage possible for this, and the setup is going to be pretty real. So special attack is going to be boosted by Patea Berry and Torrent. So now we're getting in a really high special attack range, and I was thinking we also want to go for some bulk. So at level 50, 184 investment, actually 180 investment into your speed is going to give you outspeeds against 135 base speed Pokemon. So Pokemon like Manectric and Mega Lopunny, you're going to get outspeeds against them after you set up your agility. And then you also still have enough bulk from investing into your hit points. Special attack is going to be pretty huge, and you just try to go from the sweep with the sweep from there. Surf and Flash Cannon is going to be like your main stab options, and then Grass Knot. So it's either Grass Knot or Ice Beam or Flash Cannon, whatever you feel like running. Surf is going to be your main damage, so then the rest you're just looking for coverage. Flash Cannon, going to be very strong against fairy types, especially with that stab. Grass Knot's going to hit those other water type Pokemon pretty well. But Ice Beam, you know, you need that dragon coverage. You need to be able to take out dragons. So you might even want to forego the Flash Cannon and then get your Grass Knot on right there. So that's the Empoleon set. Also, you can do like a Toxic, Protect, Leftovers kind of stalling. With all those resistances, you can be a good Toxic staller. Rest Talk is also an option. So let's go and look at that. You're pretty much just like a super resistance tank Suicune that you're not using Calm Mind to set up, but Rest Talk Iron Defense means you're going to be very hard to knock out. That fully investing in the hit points, fully investing in special defense. Now we're talking. Now you're going to be able to endure those hits, and while you're Rest Talking, you know, you might pop that Iron Defense. Leftovers is healing you up, and then Scald. Now you're not doing a huge amount of damage with this, so you're going to be very reliant on Scald burn, but if you can come in, burn 1 or 2 Pokemon, really disrupt, really spread some damage around, you don't have to be that sweeper Pokemon. You can really just be a huge disruption tank, and it might be enough to really make the game count. Also, with Scald, you know, boosting Iron Defense, getting into Scald, you're going to be near impossible to knock out with a physical Pokemon attacking you, so that can work in your favor, and that's kind of it. Now looking at the Defiant ability. So here's the problem with Empoleon. If if you remember, its attack stat isn't really high. So I mean, even going adamant, even boosting really high, not the greatest. And even maxing out speed, not the greatest. Yet at the same time, this Pokemon has Swords Dance and Defiant. So if you come in, say you eat an Intimidate, you eat some kind of stat drop, and you use Swords Dance, that means now we have options to Aqua Jet. But it's still not going to be very powerful, unfortunately. And then the rest of our physical coverage, we have like Drill Peck, we have Avalanche. Avalanche actually can work out pretty well since you're expecting to be slower. But we're sacrificing a lot of bulk, so you might also want to go like bulk physical. Use that Swords Dance, endure the hit, go for Avalanche, and then Aqua Jet, or try to convert 2 hit KOs on Aqua Jet. But depending on how many Swords Dances you get, usually goes first, 40 base power. If you get knocked into Torrent range, it can actually be very powerful, and then that's when we're looking at like Lychee Berry options, or maybe just some kind of thing to involve your setup, but it's very risky, very unreliable. However, best case scenario, now we're looking at potential Aqua Jet KOs if everything goes perfectly, but if it doesn't, then we're just like a weaker priority kind of Pokemon that we already saw. Pokemon like Hitmontop, it's going to get a lot of boost with Technician. Scizor, Stab, a lot of boost with Technician, and just higher attack with Swords Dance options as well. So Empoleon's just going to be a less harder hitting one of those guys, unless you get like your Lychee Berry and Torrent to line up perfectly, and if it doesn't, you're going to be dead in the water. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. We found some actually really diverse things that Empoleon can do, but it's limited by stats and some interesting moveset distribution. So if you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a nice day.